enough to let them give you to let you have to get them to love you enough to let you get. What is up, guys? Sam from RadJunk here, and it's another day in the shop. Today we're gonna be, doing shop stuff. Gonna see what it's like to run a retro game store, and I'm gonna show you some stuff and some things. I got some really questionable trade-ins that I want to show you guys. I'm also going to show you guys a really easy Game Boy fix that you can do. And you know what? We're just going to be doing shop stuff. Yeah, let's go. I'm out here rocking my Dahmer glasses today because we did a Shrek party at the bar and I went full face makeup. And I got so much makeup in my eyeballs that I ruined my contacts, and I'm waiting for those to come in. So this is we're rocking the glasses until further notice. Sometimes owning a game store is going to cool conventions and doing stuff, getting really rare games in, and sometimes it's sitting and testing a pile of disc-only PS1 games on a really janky PS1. This thing is got a huge crack in it, which I will fix at some point eventually, but I'm just gonna use it as a tester for now. And that's a problem for later me. So my game storely advice for you for today is, unless you're the kind of person that really cares about having the cases, which some of you are, and that's okay, no judgment. But if you just want to play the games and don't really care, check the disc-only bins, because it's a really good way to get games cheaper than they would be if they're complete. I've just got this gigantic disc-only bin that's been piling up, apparently. Kenna and I are getting through all the piles of things.
All the things
that have piled up. There's some good stuff in here. I'm kind of annoyed that this stuff hasn't been tested sooner, but you get a Need for Speed Underground 2. There's a Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Hold on. Somewhere in here I found, like a Drakengard 2, Oni. There's some actually good stuff in here. Nothing crazy expensive, but it's stuff just sitting in a box. Here's this Spyro Dawn of Dragon, which is a pretty good one on PS3. Why? Why is this stuff just sitting here? I don't know, but that's gonna change because we're gonna test all this stuff today. But yeah, check your disc onlys because you can get better deals on stuff that way. Okay, so I've got this Game Boy Color. And it works and everything, but the speaker is kind of crackly. So we're gonna take this guy apart and replace the speaker. And it's really easy. It's just 2 little solder points. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. Okay, so first thing you're gonna wanna do is, take off the back, take the batteries out. We will leave those. And then you're going to need a tri-wing screwdriver to get these screws out. Okay, so now we're going to take this apart, take that off, and then we've got to unscrew all of these little screws here. So the inside screws do use a Phillips head, so you will have to have a small one of those for this project as well. Just a heads up on that. Okay, so now we've got to disconnect this ribbon cable. You just lift these up, pop that right out, and then we can take this whole board out. Easy. Also, while we have this apart, take out that power button so it doesn't get lost. We are also gonna replace this screen, so we'll take this screen out of here, And then, you know, we'll just pop off that outer part. So once we get it back together, we can just pop a new one on because it's a little scratched up. So we'll take that off. Okay, so, you know, be careful with the ribbon cable, but, you know, it's kind of stuck to that front part because there's some stickiness here that holds it together, but, you know, you can just pop that out. You might have to have, like, you know, if you've got a little plastic tool, you can kind of pop it out, but then, you know, we're just gonna pop this thing. It's a lot easier to do if you have the Game Boy apart, because if you try to get in here with an extra tool or something, a lot of times you'll dent up the plastic here. Ask me how I know. But yeah, we'll take this off. We're gonna trash it and put a new one on once it's back together. Okay, so now we've got our board, and as you can see, there's just two little wires here. It is just two tiny solder points, if it would focus. Okay, yeah, sure. This two tiny solder points. So what we're gonna do is just, you know, heat those up, take this out, and then we're gonna put our new speaker in. Okay, I'm about as close as I can get in with the camera here safely while trying to stay on my mat. But you know, you just stick the wires up through these little holes, and then it's just two little solder points. And, you know, I've already got my board fluxed, and we're just gonna solder that on, and just one dot. Two dots. Easy. Just two nice little dots. So, you know, we'll clean up that flux a little bit, and then we will put this bad boy back together. Okay, so now we've got it all back together. Make sure that you wipe your screen off before you put this new lens on, because if you get dirt trapped under there, you're gonna be really freaking mad later. So make sure you get, you know, all the little specks out. Sound of me breathing on it. Okay, so we've got that. We've got, you know, our new lens. This one is a glass one, so it's a little bit nicer than what was on it before. Gonna open that up. Open that up. You're gonna take this adhesive off the back. Just peel the whole thing off. Peel that off too. And then, here, let me try to do this upside down so y'all can see what I'm doing. Hopefully not mess it up. All right, so then you'll just place it in there. Make sure you press it down real good so that it sticks. And there's usually like a little film over the top here. We'll just peel that up. Okay, there's not actually a film. Normally on these there's like an extra plastic film over the top, but I guess this was fulfilling that purpose. So let me get my fingerprints off of there. Okay, we got that. Making a mess. Okay, beautiful, fresh new screen. Now we're gonna see, make sure that the speaker works. Pop our double A's back in. I also need to clean up this back because it's a little crusty, but we'll do that in a minute. And see if she works. Wow. No more crackly sounds. Let's see. Let's put in a little crock too. And wow. I guess I can zoom out a little bit. Maybe. All right, there we go. You know, this is why people mod Game Boys now, because its screen's dark. All right, this is very quiet. Wow, look at that. I'm gonna put it in my mic. Sounds good. Sounds like a Game Boy. So, you know, if you get a Game Boy, you know, the DMGs, Game Boy Advances, and Game Boy Colors are, you know, pretty much all the same setup. It's just 2 little solder points. So it's a pretty common issue with these for the sound to go out. So if that does happen, it's a pretty easy fix if you have a soldering iron and even a smidgen of soldering knowledge. So there's that. Don't sell Game Boys that don't have sound. Hey, Kenna, what's your least favorite game of all time?
Oh, I don't know.
Think about it. Okay, while Kenna's thinking about that, mine's kind of a deep cut. There's a game on PS2 called Tulip. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a super weird one. You're this monkey, and you have to go around town and make friends and get people to love you enough so that they let you kiss them. And then if you try to kiss them and they don't want it and you die, which, you know, should be like that in real life too. But there's also like a part where you have to go to the train station and you're like walking around in the field, and then if you step on a poop, you also die, which maybe is also like real life. I don't know. It's the most frustrating, like, god-awful game, and I think it's kind of expensive now, but who cares, because I hate it.
I don't typically hate video games of any kind. I just don't play them if I don't like them. But I really like Parasite Eve and Parasite Eve 2. And the third birthday came out not too long after those concluded. And it was on like the PSP and I think Vita maybe or something. And it was just really disconnected. It was more disappointing than anything. They changed the characters, they changed the gameplay. A lot of the story was way different than what it was. It just felt kind of very disconnected and just wasn't enjoyable. So I would say that is probably one of my top ones that I just don't really care for.
All right, let me know in the comments what your least favorite game of all time is. All right, so I got some games traded in, and they are interesting, to say the least. So these came from a friend of ours. These are his favorite games that he played all the time. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. He owned them because they're funny to own. And, you know, I traded these. He traded these towards a, I don't know, an NES game that was expensive. So, fun facts. There's a company called Mystique that put out some, let's say, questionable games on the Atari. Games that are only for adults. So, you know, if you're a child watching this video right now, just skip this part until the next part because it's about to get weird. So I got three of these games. I think this is 3 out of the maybe 4 adult Atari games. So we've got, which I'm gonna cover up here because his butt is out. Custer's Revenge, which is a game where you go get women, your pixels. We got Bachelor Party. Some more butt cheeks we gotta cover. And then we got a complete in box one. So we got Beat 'em and Eat 'em. This one's kind of cool. Like, they all came like this, but it comes in like a little fancy box. So, you know, I guess you put this in your special drawer in your nightstand in the case. I don't know. So yeah, you know, if you were ever looking for some spicy games on the Atari, I just got some traded in. And you know, they're Atari games, so they're pixels, so you know, you kind of got to use your imagination a little bit, but I guess we didn't have much in the 80s, so this did the job, I guess. I don't know. I want to keep my monetization status, so, you know, I'll let you guys look up these games if you feel so inclined. But, yeah, these are, look, you know, not for sale to minors, adults only. Look at that. Look at that ice cream, sexy lady. So, yeah, you know, adult games. Look up at your own risk. Honestly, Beat 'em and Eat 'em and Bachelor Party are not... They're not too obscene. I mean, you know, they are what they are. Custer's Revenge is, like, actually kind of really offensive. But, yeah, you know, if you want to look that up, do it on your own time, because this is a family-friendly channel. But these are too weird not to show off. So I just, you know, these exist, in case you didn't know. All right, y'all, that's it for today. It is almost closing time. I feel like I did a lot, but didn't do anything at the same time somehow. That's a lot of days for me. Let's see. Really Rad Weekend is coming up this November 8th and 9th. We've got a few VIP passes left, which gets you in early. You get a t-shirt, swag bag. You also get free entry to Rad Bar for the entire weekend, which also gets you into our pre-party for free. So make sure y'all get those VIP passes. Book your hotel. It's, you know, it's a video game party at the beach in November where it's still warm and fun. So check it out, reallyradweekend.com. I've got some cool guest announcements coming up pretty soon. And yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do the YouTube things that everyone tells you to do. And most importantly, stay rad.